Hi, this is Jared again. In this third video suggested installment for what to deal with your computer when it doesn't work right. First was the Windows System Restore, or some other way of rolling yourself back. Next, if you couldn't get your computer to boot, or you just needed to go ahead and rescue your data off because you didn't have a stable environment, the Step 2 video had a far less invasive suggestion of using a Linux-based operating system called Knoppix to go ahead and boot to and read your data and store it off to external storage. No screwdrivers required there. Free stuff available. Burn a disk on another computer. Boot your other computer. Good suggestion. This one we're going to have removed the hard drive. It's not going to show you everything about removing hard drives, but I'm going to go ahead and give you some wisdoms here. A, you're inviting some danger on your data. When you take a hard drive out of its protective computer case, you may zap it with your own self because of electrostatic discharges. So if you want to read up more on electrostatic discharges, you can do that. Some generalities about opening equipment. If you're not an electronic service technician or electronic parts service technician or somebody that's familiar with dealing with electrical stuff, you may want to shy away from this. But here's some good wisdoms. Never work on anything that's plugged in. Make sure all power sources are disconnected from it, whether it's power supplies or batteries on laptops. Next, try to power the device on so that all possible power has left the device as much as possible. That doesn't necessarily mean there's not going to be power still left in it, but most computers it's not going to be anything of a problem usually. Next, you're going to want to go ahead and touch the chassis of the device before you touch the sensitive components such as the hard drive, so that you're on the same electrical potential and work in a hopefully a static-free zone. You could use an electrostatic discharge wrist strap if you want. That's up to you if you want to study more on that part of things. So we'll cover mostly the drives being out of them, but I'll give you one visual on taking a drive out of an old laptop here. So here is a very old laptop. No power supply connected to it. Batteries removed. Hard drive on this model, now it'll vary on different models. They'll have a panel that you have to take off in some cases, and then you can get to a couple of screws and slide it out. This one had a singular set screw right here that's already removed, and I just slide it on out. Since it's older, it actually has the older laptop IDE, all those mini pins on there. I'm not going to read this one today, but that's as simple as taking a hard drive out in some cases. To read these drives, I'll be using Rosewill's RCW-618, a very nice kit. There's other manufacturers that might make stuff. I'm really partial to this one. I own 3 of these, so it's good. The kit comes with some unnecessary stuff that's really nice to have included. Some isolation things you can throw around the drive to keep it electrically isolated a little bit, since you're exposing the the main component board on it to some stuff. So once power is running through this, if somebody touches that or whatever, it could put it in harm's way. So that's good that these are going on here. Also, we have the power supply for that unit, and we have the drive reader itself. Power supply is connected up here. The power supply has both serial ATA type power and the old 4-pin power. Mini drives here. It'll read the IDEs just fine. In fact, in this video, we're going to be reading this drive that's 14 to 15 years old, and it's only 6 gigabytes. So we're going to read that just as a torture test of reading something ancient, and this device is going to do it flawlessly. Laptops now use serial ATA. So that's serial ATA, and this one also serial ATA. So even though they're different sizes, nowadays there's really only one connection protocol, unlike the old days. So here it is, what we're showcasing. Rosewill's RCW-618. Your typical IDE connector, your teeny tinier pin laptop style IDE connector, serial ATA on the end here. The kit does include a nice short serial ATA, and there we go. So to read this drive, I already have the 4-pin power connected, as we said before. I'm also going to connect the brains up to it at this point, but it's not connected to the USB of the computer just yet. We're going to do that momentarily. So I'll get that in there eventually, working single-handedly, holding my cell phone in one hand to record this. Okay, that's in there. It does have a disconnect micro USB on that 618 model. Alright, so first, now that we got all things connected here, I'm going to go ahead and spin the drive up by applying power. There's a neat little power switch on this little nodule here and an LED again to indicate that power's on. We hear it spinning up. Yeah, you can tell by the sound of that, that's really old. Okay, next we're going to hook the USB up to the port. Once we do so, the brains of the drive reader gives us some nice blue LED indicators, and we have some blinking. Detected it really quick. Sometimes it takes a while for it to detect it, especially with the old drive I was doing. Okay, it detected his drive letter E, so we can simply click on that and read data. You can select what you want, copy paste it wherever you need to go ahead and save your data. If you were virally infected, you could also scan it. Now, most of your antiviruses, you can right click on the drive letter and choose scan with whatever antivirus you have. I really like Microsoft's free antivirus, Security Essentials. It has a better chance of going ahead and staying on people's computers. It doesn't have a subscription that lapses, because in honesty, I've been out on so many jobs where people let their paid antivirus lapse, such that this free option that Microsoft has never charged for 3 or more years at this point, it works great. So I like it a lot. So you can pick scan, and we'll go ahead and bring up your antivirus and scan it. It's orange right now because I haven't run updates on it in a little while. I haven't had this laptop on for a little bit. So it's scanning it, and there you go. If it finds viruses, you can remove the viruses. That doesn't mean your computer's completely sterilized and you slap the drive back in your computer and everything's all happiness. If you had a virus on the computer, you were compromised. There might be uncommon hooks inside of your system, software-wise, such that you could still be exploited. So it is best, if you want to do this instead of going with the straight Windows reload and you think your computer's all happy, I would advise not doing anything with sensitive passwords or financial transaction type stuffs, or shopping online for at least a month, if not at least half a month, something, so you know that the computer's been clean a while. Of course, reloading Windows is a more guaranteed safe way to do that, but that invites more trouble. So if this provided something good for you, cool. Now let's suppose the other objective of this video, that your computer was corrupted and the hard drive doesn't even mount as a drive letter. That's not to say all is lost. Now there's many recovery type programs that will go ahead and let you get your data restored. I like Runtime Software's Get Data Back for FAT or NTFS. FAT is what you're going to find on older computers, such as this 6 gigabyte hard drive has a FAT file system on it, versus the newer file systems you can find on Windows XP and forward, or some prior versions of Windows will also be running NTFS, such as Windows NT, Windows 2000, but Windows Millennium Edition 98 would be FAT most likely. File allocation table. So I'm going to go ahead and run Get Data Back for FAT, and Runtime Software's thing comes up here, and you can go through this wizard and everything, and that's by Runtime Software. And yes, I paid for it. That's my name and everything. I like this software. It was totally worth paying for, and it does a good job. I've tried to find some freewares I really like, and this one performed to a level that I was so satisfied with. I've saved people's data a lot when something's really corrupted, and I've rescued their family memories, their pictures and stuff, and I'm like going, yay, this is good. So it would be a little long to demonstrate this, but it comes up with a wizard. I don't know what happened to it. You can pick what you think happened to it generally, and that might shape the way it's going to try and recover the data. Then you hit next, and it's going to go ahead and, oh, sorry, it wants to run as administrator, so I would have to right click it and hit run as administrator for it to do that. But you can go ahead and do that. It'll catalog the drive, and then you could go ahead and restore your data. If you wanted to use this, you can download their trial versions and it will catalog the drive just fine. The one thing it won't do, since it's a trial version, is allow you to actually rescue data and copy it somewhere else. So if you don't want to pony up the cash for this just yet, you can go ahead and download this or another solution that you like to go ahead and try and do forensic level style recoveries, recover deleted files, whatever you're needing to do for your hard drive to get your stuff backed up. Once your stuff's all backed up, if the drive is again viable, you can format it and do some benchmark tests on it, and if it's going to be a viable hard drive, you could then reload Windows on it. I'll have some later videos that cover some of the practices I use for reloading Windows, but for the time being, I guess that's it for this one. I hope that's helpful.